Student, in this video we will discuss about the sexual cycle in females, menstruation. Clear? So, we know very well that when a girl child is born, her ovaries already contain many thousands of immature ova. It means that already immature ovas are present inside the ovary. Okay, and these eggs are contained in immature follicles. Clear? When a girl reaches as the age of puberty, you know very well, in case of girls, puberty comes at the age of 10 to 12 years. Clear? Then one follicle develops at a time to form a mature ovum. Mean only one follicle. Suppose it's a one egg cell. So one follicle develops at one time. Please remember this thing. On maturing the follicle, this follicle burst and ovum released out from it. This is known as the secondary oocyte. Much more about it you will learn in class 12th. Okay, so the releasing of ova from the ovary, it is known as the ovulation process. What I said, release of ova or ovum from ovary is called ovulation. Clear? One ova released from the ovary, that is known as the ovulation process. In a normal healthy girl, ovulation takes place on the 14th day of the beginning of menstrual cycle. Means suppose the whole cycle is of 28 days. Clear? 1 to 28 days. At the 14th day, normal cases ova released from the body. Okay, 14th day. This means that ovulation takes place in the middle of the menstrual cycle. The whole cycle is known as the menstrual cycle. In human females or girls, the ovaries start releasing ovum or egg once every 28 days. As I am telling you, in this duration, in 28 days, only one time ovulation takes place. This is the ovulation. Okay, release of ova at 20 in the duration of 28 days. 14th day, ova releases by the ovary. This is only known as the ovulation process. Okay, and the whole process takes place at the age of puberty only. Okay, in girls, ovulation starts when they attain puberty, as I am telling you. Ovulation does not take place every day after puberty. Don't think it that every day ova release from the body, because so many immature ovas are present inside the ovary. It only release once in 28 days. Okay, almost once a month, because month is a 30 or 31 days. So that time 28 days are very near to complete 1 month. So in a 1 month only one time ovulation takes place. Okay, so what happened? Before every ovulation, the inner lining of the uterus becomes thick. Clear? So blood capillaries become very soft inside of it. You can see here thickening of the uterus wall. Okay, so this thickening, what happened when this ova fertilized by sperm? You know very well, ova released from here. Okay, and if it is fertilized by sperm, that time the fertilized egg can be transplanted on this uterus wall. Okay, again I am telling you, please try to understand it. What happened that at the time of changes occur in uterus, these changes are very important and very necessary, because when ova get fertilized by the sperm, then uterus has to keep this fertilized ovum for further development, supply of food and oxygen. How it happen? This uterus thick lining is very helpful in this process or development of an embryo. Okay, are you getting my point? However, a sperm is not available at the time of ovulation, then fertilized ovum does not take place. Only availability of sperm is very necessary for the fertilization process. Clear? So if fertilization takes place, that time the embryo implant itself in this thick wall. Okay, the zygote, then embryo, as I told you in last life class also, and then it converts it to fetus. So fetus develops with the help of this thick lining of uterus. If fertilization not takes place, what will happen? That time this lining, the thick lining of uterus breaks down. Okay, the thick lining of the thick lining of uterus breaks down in the form of blood. Okay, and this blood, the thick and soft uterus lining contains a lots of blood. I am telling you, lots of blood. This blood, if if fetus implants in it, that time this blood vessels are very helpful for the further development of fetus. But if suppose no fertilization takes place, that time these blood vessels breaks down. Okay, you can understand that disintegration of the uterus lining produces blood along with the other tissues, and this blood and other tissues come out of the vagina in the form of bleeding. Clear? So from the vagina this bleeding occurs. So this is only, we can now say that breakdown and removal of inner thick and soft lining of the uterus along with its blood. Okay, so vaginal bleeding, in the form of vaginal bleeding, this process is only known as the menstruation. Okay, are you getting my point? Removal of inner membrane of uterus in the form of vaginal bleeding is known as the menstruation. Clear? It is only, the menstruation only takes place when fertilization will not take place. If fertilization takes place, till that time, for whole gestation period, this wall will not come out from the body. In the gestation period, this menstruation period will stop. So the whole menstruation period, in every day to day life, we use not a menstruation period, we just use only the periods word. Okay, so menstruation occurs every 28 days because ovulation occurs every 28 days. Okay, so I think that much is clear. Several steps are also necessary to understand when we discuss about the menstrual cycle. Okay, so these points I am going to discuss with you. The menstrual cycle is discussed by controlled by hormones. Several hormones are responsible for the menstrual cycle. Okay, progesterone, estrogen, these are the female hormones which are generally associated with the menstruation cycle. Okay, so when a girl reaches puberty at the age of 10 to 12, as I am telling you, sex hormones start to release in the body. Clear? So that time only the mature ova or ripened ova comes out from the ovary. Okay, one mature ovum is released from the ovary into the oviduct. You know very well what portion is known as the oviduct. This portion is known as the oviduct, and fertilization takes place at that area only. If it is fertilized, that time embryo implants itself in the uterine wall. Clear? But if fertilization not takes place, if ovum does not get fertilized, that time the soft inner lining of uterus is no longer needed. So that's why this soft lining of uterus along with the blood vessel removed out from the body. So removal. Menstruation usually occurs 4th day after ovulation and usually lasts for about 3 to 5 days. So this menstrual period lasts about 3 to 5 days. Okay, after menstruation again the first day start. Okay, when the menstrual period occur, this is known as the first day of cycle. Mean again it leads for 1 to 5 days. Sometime it's of 3 days, 4 days or 5 days. Afterward the normal cycle takes place. Okay, so on 14th day again ovulation takes place, and 28th day again this cycle completes, then first day start. Okay, so the menstrual cycle is controlled by several hormones, as I am telling you. Menstrual stops temporarily. Okay, menstrual cycle stops temporarily at the time of pregnancy. Clear? At the time of pregnancy the menstruation period will not take place. Okay, and total stop or complete stop of menstrual period, that is known as the permanent stoppage of menstruation or periods is known as the menopause. Menopause occurs in women at the age of 45 to 50. Afterward the reproductive capacity of a lady becomes nil. Okay, so a woman stops ovulating at menopause because ovulation not take place. If ovulation not take place, a lady can't be get pregnant. Okay, so after menopause lady can no longer become pregnant. Menopause is the end of the reproductive life of a woman. Okay, so when menopause takes place at the time of 45 to 50. Start of periods or start of menstruation at the time of puberty, it is known as the menarche. Starting is known as the menarche, and end of the stoppage of the menstruation is known as the menopause. I hope that much is clear. If you have any question regarding this, please send me. Thank you, children.